Hello and welcome to Life Stories Worldwide. We're live here on YouTube, StreamYard. We're also live on Facebook and on our own website, which is Life Stories Worldwide. That's if you want to watch, of course. Now, for the past 5 years, we've been bringing stories of people's lives that have been transformed, changed, and even born again from an encounter with Jesus. Tonight, we're going to speak to with a man from Romania. His name is Samuel Mitrofan, who travels all over the world for the Go movement, bringing the gospel to many, many nations. Samuel, of course, grew up in a communist country, but at an early age came to know Jesus as his Savior. So with that, I'm going to introduce you to Sam. Good evening, Sam, and welcome to Life Stories Worldwide.
Yeah, thank you, George. Greetings from Romania, from Bucharest.
Thank you very much indeed. Now, as I've just been explaining,
great to be with you.
Yeah, excellent. I've just been explaining that we have stories about people's lives who have been changed dramatically. Some stories are more dramatic than others, but each story is everybody's own story. So tonight, we'd just like to hand over to you for you to tell us your story as to how your life was changed and transformed. So it's all up to you. Take it away, Sam.
Yes, thank you, George. It's good to be with Life Stories Worldwide. So each story it's very special because I think the gave us a lot of diversity, and it's good for us that we are different. Usually, when we talk about life story, it means that we've been born and we have a life. My life was threatened when I was in my mother's womb, and I was very close to be aborted. And that's why I'm glad that I was born. And when I was born, my mom said, because God did this for me, she said, I will give the name to my son, Samuel. It means God listened, and God listened to her prayers. And because God saved my life and I was not aborted, so she called me Samuel, and that's why, in a way, my life started with this part when I didn't know if I will survive or not. And it's good to see that God created us in His image. It's a lot of diversity, and when it's about sharing the life stories, I like it also because we have to learn a lot about what's the diversity and how God for each one of us has a special plan, and in His love and in His joy, He's giving us the joy of living the life. And my story, it's interesting also from my grandfather. So in a way, Christianity came in our family when my grandfather was a prisoner of war in Siberia, in Russia. He was there with a German prisoner, and the German prisoner shared the gospel with him, shared the good news, and my grandfather was changed, and he came in our hometown. My hometown, it's very close to the Ukrainian border in northern part of Romania. And when the neighbors, when the family, the larger family saw the life change in my grandfather's life, they asked him what happened, because usually in that village, many people especially during the parties and different celebrations they used to kill one another, to punch one another, a very violent environment. And that's why to survive there, it was a matter to be strong and to fight and to be more violent than the neighbors and the other ones around you. So that's why I was very happy to find from my father what happened in the family tree. So how my grandfather really became a Christian, and that's why from his old lifestyle he became a new creation. He had a new life story, and this helped me in a way to live in a nice family. So my father was also a godly man, and he was looking and pastoring like 5-6 different churches. It was during the time of communism, And all the time, I remember that it was, on one hand, the joy, to be a Christian and to know about God and the way how God, the Almighty God, is controlling the history. On the other hand, it was that fear that you don't know if the communists will not catch you. And I was growing in this environment when I saw a lot of, persecution from the communist system. My father and my mother many times were called at the security office, and they was, what are you doing with your kids? We were four brothers. And they said, you indoctrinate your kids. And my mother was very, no shy. She was not afraid of them. And she said to them, your sons are the drunkards. Your sons are the thieves. Your sons are the bad boys of the society. My sons, I want to grow them, to be, like good Christians. And that's why growing in this environment, I became a Christian. It's hard to say exactly when I became a Christian, but I remember that my father, when I was 12 years old, like the time when Jesus went in the temple. And for me, it's easy always to remember this. My father gave me a Bible with a zipper. It was very special. It was quite unique. I never saw a Bible, such a nice Bible with a zipper in Romania, because we were on the communist, and in a way the Bibles were forbidden. And my father wrote on the Bible, to my son, Samuel, not to forget your promise that you'll be like a herald of the gospel for the people around you. And this, in a way, continued in my life. I knew that God has a purpose for me. And I knew that a good way to please God, it's also to share the good news with the others. And I had many opportunities, even like a teenager. I remember coming from the church, and I was not trained to know how to share the good news with the others. And it was funny when I was, in a way, proud of my Bible coming from the church. My friends asked me, Samuel, what do you have there? And I said, I have a Bible here. What is a Bible? And the only apologetic during that time, I could say, you see, this special book, it has so thin leaves that you never saw a book with such a thin pages like this. And this was my whole message for them. And since then, I was trying always to find a new way how to share the good news with the others. And that's why I was learning all the time and growing and going to university. I was in the chemistry university. I'm a chemical engineer on my background. And during that time in the chemistry university, people were opened to hear the gospel. And I was amazed how I started discipleship even from the first year in university. Somebody was ready to take the risk and invest in me. And then it was interesting that even during the time of communism, in 1986, when I was in the first year of the university, Ceausescu gave a law not to allow more than 5 people gathered together on the streets. And we used, being on the church background and going to the church, we used to hang around, eat together, stay together, laugh together, playing games together. And this law really affected me. And I was thinking, man, God really is in control, but we see that the communist regime really wants to press us, to stop us, to be very silent, to say nothing to nobody. And even in this context, in this background environment of persecution, God really touched the hearts of the colleagues around me. And in the chemical university, it was like a revival. Many people came to know Christ, and I was happy to see people around me that had life, their lives were changed. And of course, I remember also going with the Jesus movie. It was on pellicula, the film, and with a big apparatus, we hide it in different apartments where some people were ready to open the doors and host us for like a movie. We presented the Jesus movie, and this gave me more courage. And we saw that God is working in a special way, and even if the pressure is high, His power in weakness is make it stronger. And my father, of course, and my mom, they trained us, not to be afraid, and to know that we serve God, and we don't have to be afraid. And in a way, from an early age, we knew that it's a cost. If we want to be disciples of Jesus Christ, it's a price to pay. And okay, finishing the university, then I was recruited in a research institute. It was the most favorite research institute of Ceausescu family. I was a specialist in chemistry, in silicon compounds and oxide compounds. And it was interesting that there I met, the revolution came. And one of my colleagues, she was also a Christian. And I saw that she had the initiative to start a business. And I said, man, business is very interesting, that it's helping you to maximize your time, because you can have the same hours in a week, but you can earn a lot of money, and you can, if you have money, you can spend the time doing something different than working hard. And during this time in the research institute, I started to think about starting a business. And with my brother-in-law, we started this business. I started to pay my boss in the research institute to give me, more free time and have less work there. And in this way, I started to be in the business area. And being in the business, also, I said, maybe it's not the best place here. Maybe it's not, something. It's my soul was longing for something different, to invest more in people, and I didn't have. I had to travel a lot. In 3 years, I put a network all over the country. I had a German partner and a Romanian partner, and in this way, God created a platform to be able to have more free time. So that's why when I turned 30, I said, now game it's over with business. It's time to invest more in real values, to invest in people. And of course, also during the time of the business, I connected with different people. I traveled a lot, and there where we started new hubs for business, I connected with very different people. And this was a very good platform after this. And during the years, I saw how God really put a good foundation for what I had to do after that. And of course, the specific of my business was in car paint industry, in automotive industry. And we had clients like the cars from the presidency of Romania, from the government. And this was another stage in my life, because I was very shy. I remember just talking with all the people, or especially with the girls, when I was, in the early 20s. I get my cheeks red, and but the business helped me a lot to relate better with the people, and to have better communication with my prospects, and this was very good. So I see like a interesting stage. When I turned 30, I went to the church and I said, okay, I'm available, what I can do. And the pastor of the church said, okay, maybe it's good to help in that department. And very soon in that department, I started to be involved there. I was ready to do everything. But the pastor told me, here it's a need to communicate with other people, the good news. And